YouTube does not care if you learn or if you have fun. YouTube does not care that you're coming here to improve your life or you're coming here to just, have fun, just be entertained. I actually want to show you some stuff. I want to show you some visual examples of this. I made a tweet just today. I've been thinking about how exactly to talk about this or when exactly to talk about this. And the idea is that you might think it's become easier to learn something new. There are more resources available. There are more people teaching out there. There are more YouTube channels. There's more, experts on Twitter. But even if everything is available online, even if all the information is available, but you do not have the focus to stick to it, how would you make progress? This is a very, very deep problem. And you know why I'm thinking about this? Of course, I am thinking about this because I want to solve this for myself. I have a solution. I have a system that works for me. But again, I don't know if that system works for everybody. And the reason I'm so focused on this is because I also run an edtech business. It is literally a part of my job to figure out what causes people to lose motivation and what can my team do to help, right? That's why this is so deep. That's why it's such an important topic to me. But the idea is this: learning environment matters. I want you to think about this concept. If you had the option of learning sitting in the living room of your house, right? Drawing room में बैठ के काम कर रहे हैं. Do you expect to be able to focus अगर drawing room में बैठ के काम कर रहे हो? No. The bell's gonna ring. Your mom says, hey, can you quickly do this? Your dad asks you some question about this thing. There's 10 other things happening at home. We understand this physically. We understand this physically. That learning environment is important. You would not expect, ठीक है, कि मैं नीचे जाके मार्केट में बैठ के पढ़ाई करूँगा. You're not going to go to the market and sit down there and work, right? You understand that intuitively. You need maybe a clean desk, maybe no noise, maybe you need the AC to be on, right? All of these factors to be able to focus maybe. But we don't realize that it's the exact same thing digitally, which is trying to study a new skill exclusively through YouTube. I want you right now, since we are on stream, this is really meta, okay? I want you to look at your recommendations on the right side, right? Or if you're on your phone, on your screen. YouTube does not care if you learn or if you have fun. YouTube does not care that you're coming here to improve your life or you're coming here to just, have fun, just be entertained. Nothing wrong with that. But the point is, it's like having a classroom in the middle of a carnival. Every single second that you spend on your stream, you are thinking about, should I click on one of these other streams? These other videos that seem interesting. Maybe a subscription you have. They released a new video today. You're like, I should really watch that. Right after the stream, maybe you go to your homepage and you're like, wow, there's so much interesting stuff happening. But the point is, the shiniest object will eventually win out, right? The same way that you want a physical learning environment where you can focus, you also want that digitally. Think about that for a sec. I'll tell you how we are trying to solve this, okay? Let me not say that I have figured it out, right? I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say I've figured it out. I'm not going to say that, you absolutely need to come to 10K designers if you want this, right? I can just tell you my own perspective, right? That's all I can share. My own perspective, I want to show you something. The reason it's so important to me is not just for personal productivity reasons, because we have people who are literally trying to change their life by getting into design, right? So we have to design this environment. And, even if you never end up enrolling in one of our programs, let me just tell you right here how you can think about it. In the short term, you really need to think about productivity principles, right? In the same way that you can learn about things, you can learn about productivity, right? It might seem weird, right? But there are things you can learn and then you can go apply it. But in the long term, right? This is what we are doing. We have a learning experience that is more fun than just watching stuff on YouTube. So we beat fire with fire. We get you back. But besides that, it becomes about long-term habits. It becomes about the long-term environment that you have around you. Productivity, or the death of productivity, is a death by 1,000 cuts. I did not make this up, right? Maybe I'm repurposing 2 quotes around this. The death of productivity is a death by 1,000 cuts. It's usually not one thing that makes you lose everything. It's not just 2-3 things. It's a bunch of different factors, right? You know how we spoke about in a physical environment. Not having the fan on makes you get slightly irritable, which can then lead to you not being able to focus, right? It's a bunch of factors. But in the long term, there's this amazing quote that I saw. This is by James Clear, who wrote Atomic Habits. His quote was basically about, we fall to the level of our systems. Without a system, you would fall through. And now that's not really a bad thing, but if you are here right now, if you're still here watching this, there is clearly something you want improved, right? The reason it's not really popular to talk about productivity, I think so, maybe it is popular, maybe I don't know, is that this is not applicable to everybody, right? I don't think everybody should be thinking about stuff like this. Most people come to YouTube to get entertained, and I am not going to spoil it for you saying, bro, you should be productive. I do not care about that. But if you're here, you're probably trying to achieve something, right? So I really want you to think about long term, right? Not just what can I do today, which is really important, but what can I do a week from now, a month from now, a year from now, that moves me in the direction of better performance. And I will also say this, the reason I'm also talking about this from an edtech perspective is it's very hard to fall and not learn something new. Like, let's forget about all the different types of productivity. Let's just focus on learning something new. It is not enough to just have hundreds of hours of content. YouTube, you can learn something, but again, it's like learning something in the middle of a carnival. You're getting pulled in all these directions. There's a new music video out. There's a new reaction video, depending on what you watch. Let me really quick talk about what we do, okay? And I'll give you maybe a small thing. People who are already a part of 10K Designers or joining us very soon for our upcoming cohort, you will have a first-hand experience when we teach you this. But in general, the way we approach it is short-term, figure out how we can teach you what you need to know. But in the long term, the way you will find that productivity is the environment. The reason we talk about this whole metaverse concept, right? We're creating this new university, internet university, is because it's an environment in the end. And motivation doesn't happen naturally, right? The natural state on a very biological level, shout out to Prakhar, on a biological level, your mind doesn't care if you achieve your goals or not. Your mind cares that it's well fed and it's doing basic survival maybe, or it's just being able to just go through stuff. It does not care whether you achieve your goals or not. This is the one. Thank you for sharing this, Nitish. This is the quote that I was talking about, which is, you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the levels of your systems. Beautiful, amazing, right? What it says is our default is not, like, let's say we're here and our goals are here. The default is not to keep climbing. The default is whatever your system is. Your system becomes your net. It becomes your net, right? Such that even if it's very natural to lose motivation, it's very natural to be tired, right? Or just having gone through a long day. But a system is that net which supports you. When you fall, you don't fall all the way here. You fall, your system is the net that holds you in place. And that system can, of course, be your personal productivity system. The way you manage your to-do lists, the way you manage to prioritize what you do and you don't. But from our perspective, the reason it's a very important quote to me is because for every member that signs up for our program, we are responsible for creating that system, right? We are responsible for making sure that, we have all this amazing information, but it's useless if you are not able to focus, right? So it's a complex problem. It's a very complex problem. The reason I want to wrap up, not just because we're reaching the end, but the reason I want to wrap up is I feel like I've thrown too many concepts at you, right? And in the end, concepts alone are not enough. You need to put some of it into action, right? Some of it into action. I cannot say, since this is YouTube, right? If this was the cohort, I could tell you put this into action because everybody's on a similar path. But right here on YouTube, I know all of you have different goals. There's different things you want in life. There's different parts of the journey where you are at. I cannot tell you a prescription कि भाई ये कर दो और हो जाएगा solve. I cannot say that. But I can tell you that if you are able to inculcate that self-awareness to figure out and implement just one idea, you do not need to keep watching videos about productivity. You do not need to read the next book about productivity that somebody recommends on Twitter. You do not need to constantly question yourself and think about, why am I not productive? It comes down to self-awareness. You're watching here on YouTube right now. Beyond this, I have no control over what you're going to do next. But if this is something you really care about, I would urge you to think about that self-awareness. In the end, resources will not help you. Resources can help you get started. Beyond that, it takes action. It takes action to say no to certain things. And only when you can say no to certain things can you free yourself up to say yes to the things that are important to you. Not to anybody else, but to you. If you enjoyed that video, please, of course, let us know. Leave a like and comment. But besides that, this is what we do for a living. We help creatives and designers level up in their careers. If you'd like to join one of our live programs, we do them a few times a year. Check out the link in the description. It's 10kdesigners.com. And I'll see you around.